Hi kids. Today we're going to be talking about decoding word equations. What we're going to be doing here is taking a sentence that describes a chemical equation and actually turn it into a chemical equation with symbols for elements and compounds. So here's the example. It says iron and water react to form hydrogen gas and iron 3 oxide. So the first thing we're going to do is read the problem and circle all the compounds or elements. So the first thing I see in this sentence is iron. We know that iron is an element, so we're going to go ahead and circle it. The next thing I see is water, so we're going to circle water, and we know that that is a compound. Now that's going to react to form hydrogen gas. We know hydrogen is also an element, and iron 3 oxide, which is an ionic compound. After we circle all of the elements and compounds, we're going to figure out where the plus signs in the equation go. So the plus signs will generally go where words like and or reacts with appear in the equation. So I see iron and water. That means iron plus water. React to form hydrogen gas and iron 3 oxide, or hydrogen and iron 3 oxide. The third step, we got to find out where the arrow in the equation goes. So the arrow will usually be represented by words like forms, reacts to form, produces, etc. So we see that iron and water react to form hydrogen and iron 3 oxide. So those words react to form is where our arrow will go. Now we have to decode all of the elements and compounds and come up with their actual symbols. So for the elements, it's easy. All we have to do is find them on the periodic table, but we have to know how to do that for compounds as well. So iron is an element. We see that its symbol on the periodic table is Fe. By now everybody should know that water is H2O. Now for hydrogen, when we write hydrogen, we have to write it as H2. And that's because hydrogen is one of the 7 diatomic molecules: bromine, iodine, nitrogen, chlorine, hydrogen, oxygen, and fluorine. Whenever we write the symbols for these elements in a chemical equation, when they're by themselves, we have to write it as H2 or Br2, etc. All right, and finally for iron 3 oxide, remember that the 3 in iron 3 means that the iron cation has a charge of +3. We know that oxygen is -2, so these charges combine to form a compound with the formula Fe2O3. Next, we just have to write our equation and balance it. So it said iron and water react to form hydrogen and iron 3 oxide. And finally, we just have to balance the equation. So I'll put a 2 in front of iron here, a 3 in front of water, a 3 in front of hydrogen, and Fe2O3 remains the same. And when we check at the end, we see that we have 2 iron, 2 iron. 6 total hydrogens, 6 total hydrogens, 3 oxygens, and 3 oxygens, so it's balanced and we are good to go. Now this is another thing that we do that is entirely skill-based, so the more you practice this, the easier it will become for you. And thank you for watching.